The game night that changed my life. My name used to be Dylan. 14, cocky, too smart for my own good, and the self-declared king of our house ever since Dad moved out. With Mom juggling 2 jobs and college classes, I pretty much did whatever I wanted. Especially when it came to my stepsisters, Hallie, 17, Brielle, 16, and Sadie, 15. Technically not related by blood, but they lived with us after their mom married mine 5 years ago. Let's just say I was not graceful in handling their presence. I made fun of their makeup routines, locked their phones in the fridge as pranks, and once replaced all their shampoo with glitter glue. Harmless stuff, in my mind. But I was wrong. Very wrong. Because one Friday night, everything changed. It was supposed to be family game night, a rare tradition Hallie insisted on to keep us bonded. I rolled my eyes the whole time. Uno, popcorn, cheesy music playing in the background. Then Sadie suggested a new game, Truth or Dare, Redemption Edition. I should have backed out right then. But I smirked and leaned into it. Fine. I dare any of you to not be boring. Brielle raised an eyebrow. Challenge accepted. 3 rounds later, it was my turn again. And Sadie, eyes gleaming, whispered something to Hallie. The 3 girls exchanged smirks. Dylan, Hallie said slowly, we dare you to let us give you a 15-minute makeover. Nothing permanent. Just makeup, a wig, and 1 outfit. 15 minutes and it's done. You don't say no on Redemption Edition. I scoffed. That's it? Please. Dear worst. They clapped like I'd taken the bait, which I had. They led me upstairs to Brielle's room. I expected a couple of brushes, maybe some glitter eyeshadow. Instead, they locked the door behind us. We said 15 minutes, Brielle grinned. But we didn't say we'd be gentle. What followed was chaos. First came the makeup, precise, too precise. Foundation, contouring, highlighter, lashes longer than my patience. Then the clothes. I expected something silly, like a tutu or neon tights. Instead, they brought out a full outfit, a pleated maroon skirt, a black turtleneck crop top, sheer tights, and ankle boots with a low heel. This was for Sadie's school play, Hallie explained, but it fits you perfectly. I'm not wearing this, I said, suddenly not feeling as smug. Then the dare's off. And you forfeit. And we post everything we've already recorded, Brielle said sweetly, holding up her phone. I froze. So I did it. They helped me into the clothes. The wig was a soft chestnut bob that hit my cheekbones just right. When I looked in the mirror, I froze again. Not because I looked ridiculous. Because I didn't. I looked real. Sadie tilted her head. You're prettier than me and I hate it. Hallie clapped. Let's call her Lena. No, don't give me a name. But it was too late. They were calling me Lena. Then Brielle said, one more part of the dare. Just one. You come downstairs like this and stay for dinner. Mom won't be home for another hour and we won't say a word. No way. You forfeit. I bit my lip. Fine. And I walked downstairs in silence. Each click of the heel on the wooden floor made my stomach twist. But the girls were watching and I wouldn't give them the satisfaction. That's when the front door opened. It was Mom. Home early. Her eyes widened for just a second. And then she smiled. Well, Lena, she said gently, you look beautiful. I didn't know what to say. And that was the first moment I realized this wasn't just a prank anymore. It was a trap I'd walked into, one that might just unravel everything I thought I knew about myself. Lena, Mom repeated, stepping into the living room with a warm, unreadable smile. Her eyes drifted over me, the makeup, the wig, the skirt that suddenly felt a size shorter than it had upstairs. I fidgeted. It was just a dare. The girls. She raised a hand, cutting me off gently. Honey, it's okay. You look comfortable. Comfortable. I half laughed, half sputtered. I feel like a sideshow. Brielle chimed in, ever the provocateur. But you don't look like one, Lena. You actually look kinda natural, don't you think, Mom? Mom gave a slow nod. I do. Almost like she's done this before. My stomach dropped. She? Wait, Mom, I'm not, this isn't. But Mom just turned and headed for the kitchen, calling behind her, dinner's in 10. Wash up, girls. That includes you, Lena. The girls were practically giddy. I stormed back upstairs, ripped off the wig, and stared at myself in the bathroom mirror. But without the hairpiece, the makeup made my features pop even more, not in a mocking way, but almost in a flattering way. My jawline looked less harsh than I remembered. My eyes felt awake. Was that me? No, it couldn't be. The next morning, I fully expected everything to go back to normal. I demand they delete the photos, burn the skirt, and never speak of Lena again. But the universe had other plans. Rise and shine, sunshine. Sadie burst into my room at 8 a.m. sharp. Get out, I groaned, dragging a pillow over my face. Nope. Mom said we're going shopping. I sat up. Shopping? For you, Hallie said, walking in behind her. Mom's idea. You need clothes of your own, Lena. Stop calling me that. Brielle appeared in the doorway, holding a phone. Fine. Should I send this video to Marcus from your math class? I paled. You wouldn't. Oh, we definitely would, she replied. But let's not fight. Just come along. Who knows? You might even like it. I did not like it. At least, that's what I kept telling myself. But 3 hours later, I found myself holding a soft pink blouse against my chest in a boutique dressing room, listening to my mom and sisters argue over which skirt matched best. And then something odd happened. The saleswoman who had helped us, a woman named Tina with a soft voice and sharper eyes, tapped gently on the curtain. I hope I'm not overstepping, she said, but if you ever want something that fits you and not what they want you to wear, I can help. I see a lot of girls come through here trying to please other people. Just know, when you're ready, I can help you dress for yourself. She said it like she knew something I didn't. That night, as I lay in bed, the pink blouse still folded neatly in a bag on my dresser, I couldn't shake Tina's words. Or Mom's expression. Or the way Hallie had started calling me Lena, even when we weren't joking anymore. And then I opened the top drawer of my dresser. My old clothes? Gone. Replaced with blouses, fitted jeans, soft leggings, lace-trimmed camisoles. A bra. 2, actually. One of them had a tag that read, for light shaping. I rushed out of my room. Mom. I found her folding towels in the laundry room. Yes, sweetie. What happened to my stuff? She looked at me like I'd just asked her if the sky was blue. I donated it, she said plainly. You won't be needing it anymore. What? Her eyes softened, but her voice remained firm. Lena, I know this feels sudden. But you've been acting out for months. This dare, whatever it started as, has finally given us a way to reach you. Maybe even helped you see a truth you've been hiding. I backed away. That's not true. You're all just messing with me. I'm not her. And then she said something that froze my blood. You weren't always Dylan. My breath caught. What are you talking about? Mom set the towels down slowly. When you were 2, there was a time we thought we might lose you. You were sick. Fragile. I held you every night, terrified. But every time I called you by your name, you didn't respond. Until I accidentally called you Lena, and you looked right up at me and smiled. That's not real, I whispered. You're making that up. She walked forward and hugged me. I wish I were. But the girls didn't plan this alone. I agreed to it. Because I thought, maybe, just maybe, it might bring back the part of you that's been buried for too long. I wanted to scream. Cry. Deny everything. But all I did was stand there stunned, as my mom stroked my hair and whispered, You don't have to be scared, Lena. We're here with you. And in that moment, I didn't know who I was anymore. But I did know one thing. Dylan's story was no longer mine alone. That night, I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard Mom's voice again. You weren't always Dylan. You looked up and smiled when I called you Lena. I kept trying to laugh it off, tell myself it was just a weird story she made up to push this whole twisted makeover fantasy. But the way she said it, that wasn't the voice of a scheming mother. That was the voice of someone remembering. By morning, my throat was dry and my head a mess. I stared at the dresser again. The soft fabrics, the pastel colors, all real. All mine now. Like Dylan had been quietly erased overnight. I opened the closet, hoping maybe there'd be a hoodie or a pair of jeans hidden behind the new skirts. Instead, there was a box. I pulled it out, sat cross-legged on the floor, and opened the lid. Inside, baby clothes. Tiny ones. Pink. A bracelet, the hospital kind. The name tag read Lena Marie Callahan. That was my last name. I felt dizzy. The door creaked open behind me. Sadie leaned against the frame. I figured you'd find the box. You knew about this? All of it. Mom told us a month ago. Said you weren't ready. But then you kept acting out and Hallie had the idea. The dare. It wasn't meant to trap you, Lena. It was meant to give you a window. A mirror, maybe. I closed the box. I don't even know who I am anymore. Sadie walked over and sat beside me. Maybe not yet, but you're allowed to find out. And for what it's worth, I think Lena's stronger than Dylan ever was. I didn't know what to say, but I didn't push her away. That afternoon, Mom handed me an envelope. What's this? I asked, eyeing the neatly scrawled handwriting on the front, to Lena, whenever she's ready. It came from your aunt 2 years ago, Mom said softly. I kept it hidden. I didn't think you'd open it if I gave it to you earlier. I tore it open with trembling fingers. Inside was a short letter from Aunt Caroline. I hadn't seen her in years. Dearest Lena, if you're reading this, then you're finally beginning to remember. You were born with a name that felt right before you could even speak it. Your father, he didn't understand. He asked us to try again. To try raising you the right way. It broke my heart to step back. But I always knew you'd return to yourself. I believe in you. All my love, Aunt Caroline. There was a photo, too, faded and wrinkled at the edges. In it, I was maybe 3 years old. Sitting in Caroline's lap, wearing a yellow sundress. Grinning like the sun. And written in pen on the back, Lena's first smile, age 3. Later that day, Hallie burst into my room with a look of panic. You're not gonna like this, she said. Too late. No, seriously. Look at this. She held out her phone. On the screen was a post on our school's gossip page. New girl at Westfield, Lena Callahan? Who is she and where has she been hiding? And under it, a photo. Of me. In the crop top and maroon skirt from that first night. I didn't post it. Hallie said quickly. But someone at the burger place must have snapped it. It's already got 300 likes. I felt sick. Does anyone at school know it's me? I don't think so, yet. Yet? The next day, I stayed home. I told Mom I had a stomach bug. She didn't press. Maybe she knew. Maybe she was giving me space. But that afternoon, the doorbell rang. I didn't answer, but I heard voices in the hallway. Then a knock on my door. Sadie peeked her head in. Hey, you have a visitor. What? She says she used to know you. From before. Like, way before. My stomach twisted. I walked downstairs slowly, cautiously, and froze. There, sitting on the couch, was a tall girl with honey brown skin, a navy school uniform, and piercing eyes. Hi, Lena, she said, smiling like she'd been waiting years. I knew you were still in there. I blinked. I don't know who you are. She stepped forward. I'm Maya. We were best friends. Before everything. Before your dad changed your name and moved you away. I staggered back. This wasn't a dream. This was a secret, my secret, catching up to me faster than I could run. I stared at the girl standing in our living room like she was a ghost. Her name was Maya, a name that barely flickered in the fog of my mind, and yet, when she said it, something deep inside me stirred. Not like a lightning bolt. More like a whisper from behind a locked door. Maya? I repeated. She smiled, but her eyes were serious. You used to call me Maymay. We were inseparable. Until the day you just vanished. Sadie, who had been listening from the stairs, blinked in surprise. Wait, she actually knows you? Maya nodded. Her real name was Lena, even back then. Everyone called her Dylan after that summer, but I never forgot her. Mom stepped into the room, holding 2 mugs of tea, but her eyes met Maya's with something else. Recognition. Guilt, maybe. Or maybe just inevitability. I hoped we'd meet again under gentler circumstances, Mom said. You knew? I asked. You knew her? I was there when your father told Caroline we had to move, Maya said. I cried for weeks after you left. I was 6. But I never stopped remembering your name. My knees gave out, and I sank into the couch. My thoughts were sprinting in different directions, trying to make sense of a past I barely remembered. "Why no?" I whispered. Maya sat beside me, not too close. "My family moved back into town last month. I saw your photo on the school page. I recognized your eyes instantly." I looked down, my heart racing. I didn't know what to say. But Maya did. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a folded piece of paper. It was old, creased, and delicate. I opened it slowly. It was a crayon drawing, two stick figures holding hands under a big pink sun. One had braids. The other had a heart-shaped necklace. On the bottom, in clumsy handwriting, "Lena and Maymay BFFs forever." I touched the paper like it might shatter. And then I cried. Not a soft tear-down-the-cheek kind of cry, but the kind that comes from realizing you've lost years of yourself and someone just handed you a piece of it back. That night, I couldn't sleep again. My mind was racing, full of images I didn't know I still had. I remembered dancing in Caroline's living room. I remembered Maya clapping wildly and calling me a princess. I remembered my father yelling later that night, and my name never being Lena again. I rolled over and opened my dresser. I didn't hesitate this time. I dressed, not because anyone told me to, not because I was afraid of a dare or a threat, but because I wanted to. It wasn't about the clothes anymore. It was about finding the Lena who had been buried under layers of fear and forgetting. The next day at school, everything felt different. The post on the school gossip page was still up. Still getting comments. Who is Lena? Is she trans? Is this a prank? She's hot though, LOL. I walked into school wearing jeans, sneakers, a soft lavender top, and just a touch of mascara. Nothing over the top. Nothing loud. But everything intentional. People stared. Some whispered. But no one laughed. Until the last class of the day. That's when Zane stood up tall, smug, the kind of guy who thought detention was a personality trait, and held up his phone. "So, Dylan," he smirked. Or should I say, "Lena?" The room went silent. Even the teacher froze. I mean, not judging, bro. Just wondering, how long before you start using the girls' bathroom? Laughter erupted, sharp and cruel. I stood still, cheeks burning, unsure whether to bolt or breathe. But before I could speak, before I could fall apart, Maya stood up. "She's not bro, she's Lena. And if you can't handle that, maybe you need the bathroom more than she does." The room fell quiet again, stunned. Then Hallie's voice piped up from behind me. "Just so you know, Zane, I will report harassment if I hear one more word out of your mouth. And so will the principal. She's already seen the post." Zane backed off, muttering something under his breath. And I sat down. Shaking. But not broken. After school, I found Maya waiting for me by the bike racks. "You didn't have to do that," I said quietly. She smiled. "I didn't. But we did. You've got more people watching your back than you think." I looked at her. "I'm scared," I admitted. "Every second, I feel like I'm going to wake up and none of this will be real. That I'll go back to being Dylan and forget all of this again." "You won't," Maya said. "Because now you know who you are. And we're going to help you remember the rest." The week after Zane's outburst was weird. Some people avoided me like I had a contagious condition. Others tried to whisper just loud enough for me to hear. But there were also quiet nods in the hallways. A couple smiles from people I didn't even know. But the biggest surprise came from an unexpected place, Miss Thorne, our drama teacher. She stopped me outside the lunchroom one afternoon, a clipboard in her hand and a glint in her eye. "Lena." I froze. She said it so casually. Like she'd always known. "You should audition for the talent show," she said. "What?" "No. I don't." I looked around, panicked. "I'm not a performer." She arched an eyebrow. "That's not what I heard." "Maya tells me you used to sing." My head snapped toward Maya, who stood a few feet behind Miss Thorne, grinning guiltily. "You didn't," I muttered. Maya shrugged. "You used to sing all the time. You were amazing. You just forgot." I shook my head. "I haven't sung in years." "Then maybe it's time to start again," Miss Thorne said. "You don't have to decide today. Just think about it." That night, I sat on the edge of my bed, earbuds in, listening to the same song on repeat, "I'm Still Here" by Sia. Something about it, the lyrics, the aching strength, made something in me rise and break and breathe all at once. I pulled out my old journal, one that had been blank for years. I didn't even realize I'd started writing lyrics until I was halfway through the second verse. My fingers trembled, but my voice, when I sang a few quiet lines, didn't crack. It didn't sound like Dylan. It sounded like me. 3 days later, I signed my name on the audition sheet. I wrote Lena Callahan in bold, careful letters. When I turned to leave, Hallie was standing behind me. "You're really doing it?" she asked, her voice more impressed than mocking. "I think so," I said. She smiled. "Good. About time." The day of the audition, my hands wouldn't stop sweating. Mom helped me choose a soft blue blouse and black jeans. I didn't go all out, no wig, no glam, just me. Hair brushed down to the shoulders, light makeup, and a little clear lip gloss. Enough to feel present. Enough to feel honest. Maya walked me to the side stage. "Whatever happens, remember this. No matter how many people are out there, the only one you need to sing for is you." I nodded, swallowing hard. And then my name was called. I walked out, heart pounding like a drum. The lights blinded me at first. There were maybe 30 people in the auditorium, teachers, judges, students who wanted to watch the auditions. And then, Zane. Front row. He smirked when he saw me. Whispered something to the guy next to him. My throat went dry. I stepped up to the mic, looked down at the piano player. Nodded. The music started. But no words came out. A few people shifted uncomfortably. I could hear someone snort. And then, behind the curtain, Maya whispered, "You were Lena before you were brave. Now be both." I closed my eyes, took a breath, and I sang. Not perfectly, not powerfully, but clearly, honestly. By the second verse, I wasn't thinking about Zane, or the whispers, or the fear. I was thinking about 3-year-old me twirling in a yellow sundress, about the name on the hospital bracelet, about the girl in the mirror who had waited years to be seen. And for those 3 minutes, she was. When the song ended, the room was silent for a moment. Then applause, hesitant at first. Then stronger. Not wild. Not thunderous. But real. I bowed. Tears stung the corners of my eyes. Backstage, Maya hugged me so tightly I thought my ribs might crack. "You did it," she whispered. "You didn't just sing. You showed up." I smiled through the tears. I think I'm ready to keep showing up. I didn't mean to go viral. Seriously. I thought the audition video would stay in the drama department's private archive, maybe shown at the end-of-year banquet or shared quietly among a few students. But someone, maybe Ms. Thorne, maybe even Maya, uploaded it to the school's YouTube channel. They titled it, "Lena Callahan Sings I'm Still Here, a Voice We Didn't Know We Needed." By the end of the day, it had 1,200 views. By the end of the week, over 85,000. Suddenly, I was a name on school forums. People shared the clip on TikTok with captions like, "Proof trans girls slay. She owned that stage. Respect. This is what bravery looks like." I didn't even know what to feel. On one hand, I was grateful. Seen. Alive in a way I never had been. People recognized me for me, not for what I used to pretend to be. But fame has shadows. And mine came calling sooner than I expected. It started with a phone call. "Hi, is this Lena Callahan?" I hesitated. "Yes. This is Olivia Burke. I'm a producer with Morning Rising Voices. We saw your performance. We'd love to do a short segment about your journey." I blinked. "What kind of segment?" "A feel-good piece. You get to talk about your story, your bravery. Possibly even perform again. National exposure, Lena." My heart pounded. "I'll have to talk to my mom." "Of course. We can wait." But not long. The segment airs next week. That night, I told Mom and the girls. Hallie nearly choked on her cereal. "Are you kidding? That's huge." Sadie was already Googling the producer. "She's legit. That show's been nominated for Daytime Emmys." Mom was quiet. Finally, she said, "If you want this, Lena, we'll support you. But it may come with consequences. Some people will celebrate you. Others won't." I nodded. "I know. I think I'm ready." But I wasn't. Not for him.